Hello, my name is Rev Donna Maurer, and I'm the spiritual leader of the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living in Amado, Arizona. I'm here today with our music director, Heather O'Day, and John Lopez as our practitioner of the day. And after my talk, we have a special guest musician, the wonderful Daniel Nahmod, so be sure to watch us all the way through. We thank you for sharing your time with us, and Heather will ring the bells that open our service.
Hello, my name is Heather O'Day, and I'm the music director at the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Let's begin this beautiful, beautiful day by ringing our bells in celebration.
It's my pleasure to be here today and do our opening invocation. So if you wish, I invite you to close your eyes, take a couple of nice deep breaths in and out. Settle comfortably in your chair. Be here now and know with me that this time is just for you. There is only God everywhere and equally present, filling all space. It is divine love, unconditional, allowing to be. It lives, moves, and has its being in, through, as, and is all creation, including you and me. We are divine, perfect expressions of spirit, and we are one with it and with each other. In this unity, I declare and affirm that this service is already a perfect divine idea in the mind of God, and it manifests and unfolds perfectly now through Heather's beautiful spirit-inspired music and the God-inspired words of Rev Donna. I declare this service whole, perfect, and complete now. With gratitude, I release my word into divine mind, and we anchor it by saying, and so it is.
And so it is, indeed. Now, every single week we have been learning a new verse of Juliet Millard's song, Everyday Mystic. And this week's has a little bit of a melody change, so I'd like to share that with you, starting with last week's verse. In the light of the moon, in the face of a friend, a beautiful tune, all the flowers I send, early in the morning till the long day's end, I want to see my God. I'm grateful for God's grace, for the peace of inner space, every day in every place, I want to see my God, because I am an everyday mystic. I want to see God every day, all around and deep within me. When I meditate, when I pray, when I meditate, when I pray.
We're continuing our theme, Sandbox Wisdom, And today's topic is animal crackers. Now, these silly topics come from a little book, Really Important Stuff My Kids Have Taught Me by Cynthia Copeland Lewis. It is a bunch of statements that her kids have given her over the years, and they're really, really cute. But at second glance, they also contain a great deal of wisdom. So one of her children said, "It's not really giving when you give away the animal crackers that don't have their heads and feet." Well, that took me back to my childhood, and I can still remember how I would pour out the box of animal crackers, put all the whole animals in one pile, and I would share or eat up the broken ones first. But her statement is really deep. Even as a little child, she recognizes there is something different when you give from your heart and when you give something you didn't really care about anyway. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, says there can be no real gift unless the giver goes with it. Giving includes more than the giving of money or things. It includes the giving of service or whatever we have to others. But always the gift and the giver must go hand in hand. A teacher who had gone to Africa with the Peace Corps received a beautiful seashell from a man whom she had been trying to assist. She was a little confused because the remote village was far away from the ocean, 15 miles. And so she asked him, "Where did you find this? Did a trader bring it to your village?" No, he said. He told her that he had walked to a town along the coast. She said, "You walked 15 miles to bring me a seashell? That would be 30 miles round trip. Thank you." "Yes," the man acknowledged. "Long walk, part of gift." And isn't it true? We deeply appreciate a gift that is given in thought and love. And we can kind of tell if a gift we receive comes from the giver's repurposed items shelf. And if we are the ones giving the gift, we feel the difference when we've been thoughtful and when we've pulled something we didn't really want off that shelf. So what is that extra something that Cynthia's daughter felt was absent when she shared her animal crackers that didn't have heads and feet? I believe it's the self that Dr. Holmes speaks of. It's the extra effort that the native and the teacher both acknowledged. It is giving with our heart. And when I worked as assistant dean at the Los Angeles regional campus of Holmes College, my office was at Founders Church of Religious Science, and the headquarters building was next door. Leah was a ministerial student who worked there, and she had a pretty high-stress job in a pretty high-stress department. I had a picture on the wall of my office of a little white kitten sound asleep with a ball of blue yarn, one strand over his ear. I had seen the picture in a store at the mall, and I fell in love with it. And just before Christmas, I went back to look at it and was gone. I was disappointed. But on Christmas morning, there it was, a gift from my husband who had been with me when I first saw it. Well, every once in a while, Leah would duck into my office, stare at the picture, and take a few deep breaths. And she would smile and say, "I just needed a kitty fix. I'm all right now." And she'd go back to work. When it was time for her graduation, something inside of me told me to give her that picture. I hesitated. After all, it was my favorite picture. But the week before Leah's graduation, I asked her to stop by my office and told her the kitty picture was hers. She was so happy that she cried, and I teared up too. We both hugged each other, and then we carefully took down the picture as it changed owners. The feeling that I had in watching her reaction was every bit, if not more, joy-filled as my own on that Christmas morning. Khalil Gibran in The Prophet has a rather lengthy dissertation on giving, and I want to share part of what he says. There are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give, as in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space. Through the hands of such as these, God speaks, and from behind their eyes, he smiles upon the earth. Well, I think we become those people who give as freely as the myrtle shares its fragrance when we deliberately and consciously seek to give from our heart, to add a bit of ourselves with everything that goes out from us. Several years ago, I shared a video at our center about Chris Natsky, a master Taekwondo instructor in Colorado. He coached hundreds of kids through the rigorous process of achieving black belt status. But to give the kids a holistic approach, in order to graduate, they not only had to perfect all the necessary moves, but they also had to perform 400 acts of kindness. And one young girl said, when you know you have to do 400 acts of kindness, you look for them everywhere so you can write them in your book. But then it becomes a habit. It's something that you want to do. And it was obvious from all the kids who participated in that video that these acts of kindness were changing their lives as much as a discipline and physical exertion. They were becoming the myrtle that breathes its fragrance into the air. They were becoming the hands and eyes of God. In the Jewish tradition, these truly selfless acts are known as chesed, which is defined as an act with no cause. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm mispronouncing it because the CH in CHESED is a guttural sound that you can't pronounce properly without spitting on somebody. So I'm not even going to try. But in Christianity, we call it agape or unconditional love. And in Buddhism, it is referred to as metta, a Sanskrit word for loving kindness, or loving without attachment. According to Jewish mysticism, the world was created through chesed, through love, with no other motivation. God, as a pure, unformed substance of love, created the world out of itself. And this is our belief as well, that we are each born from love, out of love, and by divine heritage, our intrinsic nature is love. Dr. Holmes says, life is an eternal givingness, the offering of the cosmic self to the joy of its own fulfillment. You and I are part of this joy, and we find fulfillment only as this joy passes through us to others. So I want to take a moment to kind of pursue this idea of chesed from the Jewish Kabbalah, which is the tree of life. And there's 10 aspects to the tree. These aspects are called the emanations of God. And the first 3 have to do with preparation from the inside, defined as wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. The 4th emanation is chesed, and it's also the first of the steps of action. According to leading Jewish educator Rabbi Shimon Lieberman, it is the only emanation that is unconditional and unmotivated. He said kindness is often thought as being synonymous with niceness, but the connotation of chesed is much deeper than this. Chesed is properly described as an act that has no cause. He goes on, when a person works for an employer and then he gets paid, that pay is really a recycling of his own deed. Thus, The energy a stevedore expends in unloading boxes from a ship is recycled to him in the form of money, which he uses to buy bread. A chesed act, however, is an act which is not recycled. For example, an anonymous gift to dedicate a scholarship fund. So chesed actions are not recycled back. They're not intended to pay back the giver of the action. They are not motivated by the prospect of a reward. If we see the world as created from this unconditional love, then the creative action of spirit has no other motivation than love. And that's why Ernest Holmes tells us that we didn't do anything good enough to earn this existence, and we can't do anything bad enough to destroy it. Our life is the ultimate gift of God, complete and with no strings attached. We don't have to earn God's love. We are birthed from it. Rabbi Lieberman says, while a purity of motive is virtuous with regard to every mitzvah, it is intrinsic to chesed. As soon as there is a motivation for something, be it honor or a future payoff, it has ceased being absolute chesed. It is just another action in the long series of links in the cause and effect chain. And it's from this lens that we are viewing kindness and givingness today. Our acts of kindness as absolute chesed are a reflection of God's unconditional love within us. We become the myrtle radiating the fragrance of spirit. Ernest Holmes says, real giving is the art of transmitting ourselves to others and to the conditions and situations that surround us. This kind of giving is not something for special occasions only, for it should become a habit growing out of our desire to live life to the fullest extent. Only that which becomes an inward habit of thought can spontaneously flow from the heart and transmit itself to everything we touch, just as life belongs to the one who lives it. So the fuller life belongs only to the one who scatters every good he has. According to Rabbi Lieberman, chesed is the first day of creation. And it is called in the Torah the day of one. And that's the day, the moment that divine consciousness gave of itself, embracing all creation in love. According to Jewish lore, it is the day that accompanies all days. This day of one radiates through all future days. So when you and I give ourselves from that place of pure love, we are allowing that first day of God's love to flow through all the days of our own life. And isn't that the crux of our sandbox wisdom this morning? When we hold back, when we don't give freely, when we only share the animal crackers that are missing their heads and feet, we aren't participating fully in the glory of who and what we are. We are not letting that first day radiate through us. As Dr. Holmes says, we should allow the gifts of life to flow out to everything we touch, everyone we meet, every situation we contact. Then, wherever we go, every situation is blessed, every person is helped, every discord is harmonized without our even being conscious of it. And in that way, we are sharing from our heart. We are God being God as us. And coming from that love, we easily give away our animal crackers, the whole ones that have their heads and all their feet. Thank you. Namaste.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Nahmod.
Hello, my friends in the Sonoran Desert, a place I have never been. My name is Daniel Nahmod. I am a singer-songwriter. I'm here in my home studio in Orange County, listening to a whole lot of noises outside. I'm not sure what's happening. I hear dogs, I hear birds, I hear sounds like drag racing. I'm not sure where that would be happening. Not a whole lot of drag racing in Orange County generally. Anyway, Heather contacted me through Facebook and asked if I'd sing you a song, and of course I'll sing you a song. What else have I got to do? That's not my reason, but it is true. Here I am, a traveling singer-songwriter, and there ain't no traveling, and there ain't a whole lot of singing. Not even a whole lot of songwriting, actually. More home renovations. Today I did a lot of painting. This is a fixer-upper home we moved into a few months ago, and we're going to be fixering-uppering for a long time, which I kind of enjoy. Anyway, I love the theme that you guys are exploring. Wisdom of little kids. That's a paraphrase, but I love that theme. I have a little boy myself, Jude, who's now 8, and he is always shedding simple and clear light on issues that only seem complicated when we kids with bigger skin try to grapple with them. So I have different songs that come to mind, but I'm going to go with this one. This is a song from an album called Home that I wrote and recorded these songs while my wife was pregnant with baby Jude. So this is back in 2011. And the album became an album about home from a lot of different perspectives. And this song comes to mind at the moment. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're all doing well and staying safe and sleeping well. And it sounds like a platitude to say it, but I sincerely hope you're not worried too much, losing sleep over all the uncertainty in which we are swimming right now, because all will truly be well. If it isn't already, it all will be well. So between now and when I get to meet you in person, here's a little song to say hello. I remember as a kid somebody giving me a Batman toy. I said, oh boy. Then I ran and hid it. Figured I'll come back for this one. I don't have to share it with another kid. But I forgot, and I never did. And then 40 years later, I found that Batman again. Glad I've learned since then. Sharing is the very best part. Sharing your toys, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away, having someone to play with. Being happy isn't having your own stuff. No, no, it's sharing your love. I remember how my neighbor never seemed to have enough to eat. Old tires on his car, old shoes on his feet. First I hesitated, wondered if I really had enough to spare. It's not that I didn't care, but I got my own worries, man, and well, life ain't fair. Then one day I made some extra tuna mac and cheese and picked up a second set of Adidas, 'cause the truth was sharing is the very best part. Sharing your good, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away, making somebody else's day. Being happy isn't having your own stuff. No, no, it's sharing your love. Well, then I met this girl. In a minute, I was hers. In a year, she was my bride. Now I've never been so sure that sharing is the very best part. Sharing your life, sharing your heart. Oh no, nothing ever feels so good as giving it away, coming home at the end of the day. Oh, being happy isn't having your own stuff. No, happiness ain't having the your love. Do 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 do. I call that my masculinity check. It's sharing your love. Oh yeah, it's sharing your love. True story about that Batman toy, by the way. My brother doesn't remember it, but I do. Thanks. Take good care.
Thank you, Daniel. That was terrific. And thank you for joining us today. We would like to continue our messages with you, so we would greatly appreciate your financial support. Please visit our website, cslaz.org, and click on the donate button. And we do thank you for your consideration. And now I turn our service over to John for our closing affirmative prayer.
So right here, right now, I recognize the divine power that is everywhere present, all good, all the time, filling all space. I feel it, I know it, I am one with it. I feel and know Spirit working in, as, and through me, allowing me to know that all is well right here and right now. In this moment, God knows no limitation and shares its infinite abundance without restriction, within all and to all. And so I speak my word of bounty. I know, declare, and affirm that this divine presence exists in each and every one of us, here and throughout the world. It is all good, all the time, and independent of any existing conditions or circumstances. It is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. The universe always says yes and shares according to the degree of our acceptance. Knowing that God is everywhere present, all good, continuously in my life and in the lives of everyone, working, moving, living in and as and through all people. I speak my word of wholeness and abundance, for anywhere there might be fear, pain, illness, or the appearance of lack or limitation. I know, declare, and affirm that God is right where these are, and these conditions are perfectly and completely healed and made whole, perfect and complete now. And so with deep gratitude and thanksgiving, I release my word into subjective mind for immediate manifestation in the highest, best good of all concerned. And so it is. Namaste.